can be very scary and very daunting task to take on, especially when you don't have independent learners that can survive on their own without you.
Bye, girl. We love you.
See y'all. Love y'all too. No! I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you.
Y'all are silly.
Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling. I'm on to lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. It's like snow is falling and friends are calling you.
Hey teammates, welcome back to Teaching with Tenia. It is Tecember, which means you're gonna get 7 days of Teaching with Tenia, and I'm so excited to do this because I have been slacking on content for you guys. If you guys watched my previous video, you guys will know why. But despite all of that, I am super excited to be creating content for you guys, specifically with small groups, because small groups is something that, to be honest, gives me joy and wakes me up every day. Like, I go get to teach small groups to my kids. Now, you may be asking, what is small group? All of that. We're gonna get into that in this video and in the set of videos to come. Basically, I feel like if I could just teach all small groups all day, like I literally would. So hopefully that comes true, but right now I do have a whole class and I try to go ahead and make sure that all my students' needs are being met. A small group is the way in which I do it. So small groups can mean a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people, especially depending on where you teach at your grade level and what your students already know as opposed to what they're able to do. Now, there's a lot that goes into small groups, and I know many teachers can't do this until like their 3rd or 4th year of teaching because it can be very scary and very daunting task to take on, especially when you don't have independent learners that can survive on their own without you. Let me just say it like that. In this video, I'm explaining what small groups are, what they can be, and then how to implement them, and what it looks like in my classroom. All that will come later on down the road. So right now, what are small groups and how do we use them? So I like to use my small groups in 3 different ways. Like, I can pull small groups at any time. Thank God I've trained my students to be able to do that. And what it looks like for me not to be in small group as opposed to what it looks like to be in small group. And it has different rules, regulations, classroom procedures, all that for different times in different areas in my classroom. If you have not checked out my classroom tour video where it talks about learning zones and things like that, be sure to check out that video because I already knew that I was going to do this coming into the school year. Now, if you want to go ahead and do this now, since we are in like December timeframe, you may need to like organize your classroom to make it more suitable for your students to be able to do this. The first reason I like to pull small groups is to move my data. I feel like as teachers, sometimes we are throwing spaghetti against the wall hoping it sticks. Therefore, pulling it in a smaller setting with a few friends or a few students that are about the same level, then that has been more beneficial, because if you're working on a skill and somebody else during whole group already has a skill or already knows how to do this, then it's quite pointless for them, and that's when you get behavior problems because they're bored. They don't want to be there, they don't want to do it. So in small group, I'm able to tailor the lesson. Let me not get ahead of myself. To move the data. So of course we have goals and benchmarks that my students need to meet. And so if a student has already met that benchmark, then why go over it, basically is what I'm saying. And I have gotten the most growth through small groups. And in my school, we use Amplify and Dibble's data, which is, I didn't like it at first, but now that I'm more comfortable with it and see like, okay, this is what the student is doing, this is the targeted intervention groups, I am now loving it. On top of it gives like a visual chart to see if that student is moving based off the skills that you've practiced and where they are compared to the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and then every 2 weeks when we progress monitor. So the first thing, that's why I like to use small groups, is to move the data. The second thing I like to use small groups for is to fill in the gaps, along with the whole thing we were living in, starts with a B, the whole P word that we were living in for like 3 or 4 years. Like, yeah, it changed up a lot of things and it affected kids in a bunch of ways. If you hear the after school program outside, don't mind them. But it affected students in a lot of ways. And so there are a lot of goals, gaps and goals that students have not met or have exceeded. And so in small group, I like to fill those gaps, whether they miss at this section, or maybe the student doesn't understand VAL teams, for example, or maybe the student, because I teach ELA, if you teach math, you can also do this in small groups. Like, I love teaching math in small groups. Math comes so easy to me, and I low-key wish I was teaching it now, but my school is departmentalized, if you do not know, so I don't teach math. It's just ELA and social studies. But teaching math in small groups, you can use manipulatives. Like, it's so much fun just thinking about it. I just read this thing on Instagram. It was like, every teacher avoids what they don't have. Like, for example, if a student's walking on the hallway, they're like, oh, I love this student, but you don't have to teach that student. Or if you teach like ELA, then some people are like, I don't want to teach math at all. I would love to teach. I love all subjects. I just love school in general. That's why I became a teacher. But yes, going back to filling the gap. So if a student does not know something, like I said, we are learning vowel teams right now. I understand that some students don't even know what vowel teams are, how to break it down, diphthongs, things like that. Like that's an essential skill or that is essential to learning how to read. There are a lot of words that have it. Or if students are not doing good at blending or decoding, encoding, things like that, you could use different strategies and interventions to help during that time. I also like to use small group. This is kind of like an add-on to filling in the gaps, especially with our friends with IEPs. I'm filming a video. Students want to come in here. I'm filming a video.
Did you just change this? How? I'm still mad at you for getting Ellie. Get out of there, but not for us.
Okay,
Yeah.
Can I interview you guys real quick? You want to sit behind the camera? I can't show your face, okay?
Okay.
How do you feel about small groups? What's your favorite thing about small groups last year?
It was reading fun.
Reading by yourself or reading in a group? What do you remember the most about small groups? Why y'all checking out my classroom?
Cause you changed it up. You changed it up. Ellie did like for them and not for us. Like you ain't like us. And it's
I just love you guys. Oh yeah, I did change that.
This is like
I told y'all every year I get bigger and better.
bigger and better. But we didn't have LED lights in the room. She's
I
still
know.
doing the chips. Right, the chips are here. Now we got a little package for the chips.
Wow.
You got a package for them, and we had to put them in there.
Listen.
We had numbers. We had to remember. What's that? And really?
Yeah,
What's
recently
this?
I did get a new book
The
bag.
pillow? Oh, this is.
You guys did have a cozy fun last year though.
Yeah, but we didn't have that. Right, we had no bean bag, nothing.
Listen, I love y'all so much, but y'all are in 4th grade. Listen, I had y'all for a whole year, and now y'all blossoming in 4th grade. I love it.
We had we had chairs to get comfortable. I had to get on top. I had to get 2 seats just to be comfortable. I had to go at the bottom just to be comfortable. It was like comfortable, just like
Oh my goodness. Edit y'all out.
I'm about to go. Get out. So I'm gonna let you do your. Bye, girl. We love you.
See
Gotta
y'all.
go.
Love y'all too. No! I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you.
Y'all are silly. Those are my students from last year. When I tell you they melt my heart to see them grow, I'm like, I'm about to cry. What? Wow. I love those kids so much. Oh my goodness. I love those kids so much. Like, they were a great group of students. And I don't know if it's because my first year, I haven't really grown with these kids yet. But I love teaching. I truly do. And to see like them come back and want to be in here, I know that kind of took a turn. Happy Tecember, because we don't know what we're going to get this Tecember. Oh my gosh. It is okay. Students literally just light up my world. Kids in general make me so happy, and I just feel like they are truly little blessings, and to get the honor and privilege to teach them makes my heart so happy, and to see them grow and to cherish, to see them grow, learn, and to see like their progress. I think that's the best thing I could ask for as a teacher. So when they stop by and actually like want to love learning, love each other, and to just be great human beings. On top of that, most of them are reading above grade level in 4th grade, and it's like the compound learning with, I'm not saying I'm the best teacher, but to see them like progress as opposed to like their 2nd grade scores or 3rd grade scores and now seeing their 4th grade scores, I could not be happier. Anyways, sorry, that's probably a lot. They love me a lot, and I love them back, to be honest, because I feel like the best thing, I tell you this all the time, the best thing you can do is educate a child well. So the fact that I prepared them for 4th grade as much as I could, and the fact that they're flourishing makes my heart happy. Okay, last but not least, the 3rd reason, because target instruction. So for example, we have our curriculum, but I believe not all curriculum is for every student. And I feel like curriculums can be used for different contexts, different communities, but my contexts in my communities, my curriculum is not built for the students that I serve. And so therefore I'm having to add to, take away, or even just enrich it a little bit more, because they don't have the context or the background knowledge to go ahead and write about this topic, let alone put themselves into the topic. Like some of the books that we read, of course, some stuff you just have to do, but I also like to teach it in a small group just to give better context or to break the steps down a little bit more. Like for example, writing in small groups, I love it. I call that like writing workshop time. And then if students are struggling with, for example, homophones or foundations, tapping out, spelling out words, decoding words, things like that, it's sort of like the first one. And I feel like everything that we do in small group, whole group, it all blends together so that students are able to learn and be on grade level by the end of the year. And I love small groups the most because I truly believe like we are in this education system, but if you know that something's not working or it's not effective, then to be honest, don't do it. And I feel like sometimes, like even when I was in school, everything is like a one-fits-all approach, and I don't believe in that. Whether it's different learning styles, different modalities, different ways people like to teach, just different way people process. And I like to give my students as much array as possible to be able to make that choice for themselves. And if I see they're struggling, I can pull them even one-on-one to the side or say, hey, this group worked together, this group is going to do something else completely different. Of course, you have to teach students how to work in small groups or to work without you independently, and it builds up their stamina, things like that. It's a lot, and we can get into that in later videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe down below because I don't want you to miss a day at Tecember, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.